Okay, there we are. All right. I just need to get back to my notes. All right. Thank you all for joining. So this is our February meeting for the Bolt design system. So I'll just jump into the agenda really. So first thing, GitHub repository. Alessandro set up our GitHub repository. You'll see the link here in the agenda. Um, Basically, it's empty right now. So I'm assuming that maybe to kick it off, and actually, this can be more of an open conversation too, but I'm assuming that to kick it off, maybe we need a little README that's written up about what the repo's for, who it's for, how to use it, contributing to it, etc., what we're going to do with this. So that was my first thoughts on it. Um, any other like getting this going considerations that I should add in here? Being on the design side of things, I'm not used to setting up repos. So looking at all you Debbies out there. Let's go to the chat. I know Mel's talking. Yes, sounds like a good plan. And Mel says that willing to help if needed. Mel, do you want to own it at all? Like getting the README going? Or any initial things we need for setup? I'll just wait and see if you type in the chat. Um, any other thoughts on this or kind of mulling it? Oh, there we go. There's the chat. Great. Awesome. Thank you, Mel. Oops. And what happened? Okay, so I've got a pop-up now with the chat. Okay. Awesome. That would be fabulous. And then we can start a running doc and bring it back to the group or maybe even yeah, do some tagging. We can start using the repo and talking to each other. That'd be great. Share, let's put Mel. Awesome. I put a link in here too. This is the zero height documentation, just that we can link our repo with zero height. It's more pushing to zero height. So whenever we get to that stage, might be good, especially when I get the JSON file more developed, you'll be able to push out and then we know that things are one-to-one in all of those areas. So maybe have a look at that and then we can talk about any potential issues that we see there, or if we don't need to do that or some other process, but just flagging that here in connection with GitHub. Oop, going back to the notes here. Oh my gosh. Thanks, Zoom. Okay, hold on. I've got two windows going on the same screen, so I'm looking at you. Good. Okay, good. Sound good. Okay, great. Perfect. Zoom is not my friend most days, I have to say. All right. Second order of business is naming for icons. Martin brought this up to me because, yeah, we use an enormous amount of icons through everything. It's our main thing with our UI. Not in code, but in the design system so far, we group together some of the icons based on functionality. And then our naming conventions often in desktop do use the dash case, so name and then size. In web, we're using Phosphor Icons, which is an open source library at the moment. And I'm going to guess, I don't know for sure, but that we kept the naming conventions from there. And then mobile, right now we're using M3. We do have plans to change that in the future, but M3 right now uses snake case as well. So what I'm after here is a conversation on cross-platform alignment and if we can. I don't know what other considerations. I haven't included iOS in here, Todd. We pull in from SF Pro at the moment for that one. Yeah, but semantic names, casing, and then in desktop right now, we need attributes for size because of the 1 pixel shift, because a lot of things end up being kind of funny sizes. So there's an attribute for size needed there. And then if we need any categories. to group things to make them easier based on functionality or if they're decorative and that kind of thing. Mel, oh my gosh, Zoom's going to drive me crazy here. Mel says yes, I believe so in relation to that. Any thoughts on this? I'll just open up the floor.
So for iOS, is our thinking to use SF symbols on purpose, or would we rather use Phosphor to be consistent with desktop?
In my perfect world, I would
Yeah,
love to get us. I think Phosphor is a great icon set. It's open source, it's easy, we can control it. I just didn't know, like I know when I've been using symbols because they're, pulling in from the font and that maybe there were some considerations there, but that's a great exploration for us too. And I know that even in desktop, we've had talks about modifying some of the icon set there too. So yeah, I mean, in terms of an ecosystem harmonious world, one icon set to rule them all would make me very happy. And I think if we were to need something outside of Phosphor, that we could have, dedicated icons developed for that look like they're aligned with it, which would give us
sure.
the best control, I think. So yeah, it's a great pitch. Yeah. But
I think we'd approach something like we could use the Phosphor icons or our extended icons. We might turn them into symbols
yeah,
through some sort of import process because the symbol, architecture does come with things like leading and kerning and
yeah,
base height positioning and stuff when it's used as text. And so we can, but if I'm assuming these are SVG icons, they can
they
be
are.
symbols. The robot can
Yeah,
do it. So
yeah,
yeah,
exactly. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. The funny thing with sizing and desktop, just is that it's a weird 3 pixel grid. So we end up on half pixels because of that. And so that's why they have dedicated sizes of like 12, 16, 24, 32, and that we can't control. A lot of times we set things up for the icons where CSS is controlling the SVG. So we have more work to be done in that area, I think. Um, Amanda, yeah.
Hey, it's just a question.
Hi.
When you say
Yeah.
on desktop that you're going to categorize the icons based on the functionality, what do you mean by that? What
Sure.
kind
I'll
of
just, oh,
functionalities?
I'm not logged in. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Hold on 2 seconds. I will just bring it. Oops. So we did this because we have a massive amount of icons and it helped the designers in our own design library. But so we have a number of functional icons. And then the next group was navigational icons, status and feedback icons, descriptive icons, and then the last one is decorative icons. So we broke things into those categories. So it's a
Okay.
little bit easier to find them, to know, it's, what purpose do I have for the icon, and then be able to find it a little bit more. Otherwise, we had like a huge library that's not,
Mm-hmm.
we're just thinking like a level of refinement on it to help with locating what we needed.
Mm-hmm. Got it. But is this
Yeah.
only for desktop, not for the
Only for
other
desktop. Yeah.
users?
Yeah, only for desktop right now. We could, like, we do need to expose our icons in the other library set, but like right now for Android, we're just pulling from material 3. So it's one-to-one what you would see on their documentation site. And as Todd was speaking as well, we're, just working on early starts of iOS. And then web, we've been actually kind of barreling ahead, and we haven't given a lot of organization to that yet when it comes to icons.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Um, I see the chat going. Okay, let me catch up here. Right now, so Mel's saying right now they're defined as components, and HTML is using the dashes case as well. So that's great. Okay, I'm going to pull your comment here into the notes. And then, yeah, we can reorg non-phosphoric, like phosphor. I wanted to say phosphoric, phosphor icons in the future. Yeah. Yeah, our icons is like when it comes to our UI, the dense UI icons are kind of our backbone, which is hence the conversation. Let me put your comment up here. Um, Todd, since you're representative of mobile right now, do you have any thoughts about dash case versus snake case and a future? Oh, Jesse's here too. Great. Hi, Jesse.
I
Hello.
think the icon naming doesn't have to be consistent because at least on the
Hmm.
iOS platform, I know that Android has, I believe, uses dash cases for drawables for SVG based
Oh,
assets, but some of
okay.
the icons that are coming from like icon fonts
Yeah.
have the camel case. But I think and on iOS it's a similar story where there's seven different ways, and it's really a preference. So if we're
Preference.
implementing this, at least the naming scheme from scratch, I don't think it'll be a problem to support dashes on either.
Okay.
But the asterisk on that is like I have to ask somebody about Android. But yeah,
Yeah,
if
yeah.
lowercase dash case is the preferred way of chaining, sort of like BEM style, like I think we could do that.
Okay,
Seems
great. That's
reasonable.
awesome. Yeah, let's I think like right now we're flagging the conversation and then we can do a quick follow-up next meeting too, so that we kind of all got that. And then I'll write some documentation as well so that at least from design side, we've got a base there and we're talking the same language in both, which is really good. Um, and it sounds to me desktop is the only one with the attribute for size. But I don't think that that world aligns in our other platforms because we can scale things a little bit more nicely. Do you feel like the design categories are needed more broadly in terms of code, or is it better to just have like, all the icons and have them listed with their semantic name to find them that way and not have like a category attached to it?
I think the categories are fine. I mean, that's how like emoji and all other icon sets are grouped. I think
Yeah.
we
Okay.
could, if we pick standard standard style taxonomy
Okay, great.
and grouping, it's fine.
I can type. Good. Awesome. Okay, awesome. We will explore that. That's good. Yeah, and then just to go back to the beginning, love the idea of a future consolidated world. So I'll chase that one a little bit more. I think that would make things a lot easier on many, many fronts that we have one icon set and then it gets distributed through our different platforms would be great. So yeah. Any other last thoughts on that topic before we leave it? I have to go back and check the chat here. Great. Yeah. Okay, great. Now, JSON file export. This is just a little update from me. So what I have discovered this week is the export from Figma into Penpot is not so smooth because there is some, I want to say, funny architecture with how Figma is set up with their styles and their variables. Penpot, the reason we are transitioning over there for our design tool at some point this year, as long as all the features are there that we need. In terms of design system, it's actually better. It's a lot more one-to-one with code. And as far as tokens go, they have the W3 standard already in there, which is fantastic. So its export for the JSON file is the best source. So I'm actively at the moment, because I realized the issues that were happening, I'm having to set up the file a little bit more hands-on in Penpot. So first I'm working on colors for that. So just getting in some global tokens, and then I'll work on the semantic, and then probably be coming a little bit more over into a bit of a component definition. So I'll keep you updated on that. It's early days. I know in mobile you've been asking for this file to start noodling with it, so I'm edging towards it. It's just taking a little bit longer than I initially had hoped because automated tools aren't so great sometimes when you need to touch things with your hands. So yeah, yeah. Any questions on that? I promise it'll be great. Here we go. I'm just gonna switch screens again. Check oh yeah, Mel's like, yeah. And yeah, it'll be nice. I'll start with color and then we'll expand a little bit more into typography, which will get a little bit wild across the platforms because it is quite different. Yeah, and we'll do, our strokes or radiuses, all those base foundations. The other lovely, amazing thing in PenPot is there's dimension functionality. So when we need to change depending on variables like density or like application, it's going to be a little bit easier math multiplier in there, and we won't need specific designations. So it's quite lovely. I'm excited about it. They've done great work and how it works. Uh, okay. Next topic is zero height documentation. We're coming up for our annual renewal, and I know within the budget, I asked for an extra seat for another editor to be in there. So what I will do is set that space or set that up. I will add it into our 1Password team space so that if as we get storybooks exposed in zero height, there's and you can just go and do that, and I can get more support from any engineering teams to help us get working in there, because I know Mel, you tried it at one point. So yeah, so I'll get that, and I'll get that done with zero height, and I'll socialize it. Any next steps from anyone on getting our storybooks exposed? I know Martin's not here for desktop. Desktop's going to be the hardest one because it needs to be doubled up, and so it can be shared in a more public spot than it is right now. Right now, you have to do a build through terminal to see Storybook. Yeah. Thought I saw, oh, thought I saw a note in the chat, but no, I don't see it. Oh, web should be ready to go. Okay, great. Awesome, Mel. I'll share with you that editor seat, and we can try to expose it, and we'll noodle around, and hopefully we'll give some visibility to our components. That's great. Great. I guess, Todd, you probably don't know for Android. I can touch base with Android's a weird one where there's a plugin that we could use, but I know that Wolf has a different source for how the components get exposed. So I'll follow up with Wolf because it might just be that we expose a link to it in the documentation so that it's public.
I'm not
And
super
then,
familiar with how Storybook works, but I do know that if we're trying to push components to the web,
mhm.
it's going to be a challenge on iOS completely.
Yeah,
I assume that some parts of the Android app will be able, some of the components are already web driven, but the vast majority are not. So I'm assuming it's the same challenge on both mobile
yeah.
platforms, just
As
because
far
it's
as
not
I
HTML based UI.
Exactly. Exactly. As far as I know for iOS, like there's no plugin developed for it. And I just don't see those as being viable for the exact reasons that you said with, the code. So it's hard to expose a proper, code element on the web because it's not, it doesn't line up. So I think when it
Yeah.
comes to that, like, if what Wolf has, then has as a link, that might make it easy to just show like a code ready component if we can get that. If not, what we can do here is let design take over, and we push the components from design, and we just note that these are design only, and there could be hopefully not, but minor discrepancies with what's in code. But at least we have an inventory, and we can see what's been developed already. So yeah.
I think that's what we'd be looking at. Like what
Yeah.
Android has and what iOS is developing is sort of like a component library, like an app, a freestanding app, but it's just a demo.
Yeah.
Theoretically, that could export any number of screenshots or videos or animated
Yeah.
GIFs that could
Hmm.
be used as demonstration, and it can export the structure, into web pages. It
Yeah,
just can't run the actual code, and the
exactly.
code is not compatible with the web browser. So that's it.
Exactly.
So it's going to be a fact, simulacrum. It's going to be
Yeah.
pictures probably.
Okay, so it sounds like in terms of this, we'll get web in there first as like a yay. And we should be able to figure out how to double up the one in desktop. It just needs to be, yeah, doubled up, sure. So a little bit of process needs to be developed there. And then we'll work on the harder pieces of how do we share what's, what's on a component level in mobile, which will be fun. We'll get a process there and yeah, get those public, which would be great. Okay, and then from last meeting, we had a little bit, we were talking about communication touch points and then also about how we communicate around our component release and version governance. Um, so I'm wondering if anybody wants to volunteer to own this piece. Couple of points around it that I brought in here is that we need to define release tiers for the design system, versioning, breakdown policy for public components, and then set ready for public criteria. So it's like, we have set things for design, and then once we're into development with it, but then there's probably the other level when things go public. So yeah, communication, support standards, and things like that. This probably, I'm going to just say that this will be a long runway. It might even take us into H2, but we probably need some conversations getting more developed in this area. Anybody want to own it? Or should I bring Corey in as the master of releases? I feel like this might get complicated with all the different pieces, but yeah, I'm not sure when it comes to like a shared design system. Oh, switch screens and check the chat. Oh, we're going on the chat. We can table it too if everyone's like, I'm not sure. We're all so quiet. What's everyone thinking? Come off your mic. Come off mute.
I mean, I'd be willing to own it. I would just has to be aware that would have to start from a very early place of figuring out what's actually needed for the whole thing, the whole process, and how people are going to consume it and stuff like that.
Probably need to partner you with Deb on this too. Why don't we
Yeah,
could explore that a bit more. Yeah.
I don't know if the design resource we have coming in may be able to have some insights into how this has worked or not, but
Yeah,
um,
I think we will own definitely the design release part of it. I'm more concerned about the code ready part of it, which is a little bit outside of our sphere.
right, sure.
Mm. I could have a conversation too with like Alessandra and Philip on this as well. Get more leverage with the community first, maybe. Okay, why don't we'll table for now and come back to table for now. Okay, community QA. I didn't see anything in the channel. I did not check YouTube, but I will do that for the next meeting. So we'll just table that one for now. But if anyone's watching this recording from community and you have a question about the design system, please join our Matrix channel for Bolt design system. Ask a question there, or feel free to just comment in the YouTube notes as well. Great. Great. Thanks for the action in there, Mel. Is there a volunteer who could facilitate the next meeting? And not to worry, because I will set you up with the agenda and that. The next meeting is at the end of March 24th. Everyone's so quiet this morning. Or should we pass it to Alessandra because he couldn't come this week? Is that like unanimous? Any thoughts? Anyone? Anyone? Anybody want to volunteer to run the next meeting just to facilitate the agenda? Okay, very quiet. I will ask Alessandra. Awesome. All right. That concludes our monthly check-in for the design system. Are there any last thoughts or considerations before we sign off? Okay, awesome. Thanks all. Thanks for joining. I will share out the recording in the channel once we've posted it to YouTube. Stop this recording.